Holy cow. Rod Pod. New school. New rules. How you doing?
All the way from Glasgow, Scotland, weighing 245 pounds, the hot rod, Roddy Piper.
How you doing? How's everybody?
Holy moly.
Holy moly, huh? Very cool. We got,
well, thanks for having me, Ron.
Yeah,
first, we have Steve Simone. Steve Simone and Tony Hinchcliffe, two comics that I met at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard. I spent a lot of time with them. They're like the greatest comics, and they're my friends. And my producer, Justin. Hi, Justin.
Hello.
He's really excited. You know, he's talked to me like for 4 days, and he's about enough of Rod Pod as he can handle. Jeepers creepers. Yeah, I was watching Hank Williams Jr. is a friend of mine.
Cool.
And I just saw him on Fox. He did a new song called Old School New Rules. And he was talking about, like, I guess his wife divorced him, and he's got no ring on. He said, I didn't see that coming. And the way I met Hank Williams Jr. was, he asked me in Miami, one New Year's Eve that he was playing Miami, he said, would you just come down and introduce me?
Bocephus said this.
Bocephus, yeah.
Him on New Year's Eve in
Miami.
That's
right?
like a triple threat of party insanity.
Oh, baby Jesus. You know, the Miami downtown, if anybody knows it, there's one place called the Combat Zone. Police don't go there. You know, that's a good thing, you know, but I don't kind of.
You were bringing in New Year's. What year? Do you remember?
Oh, jeepers creepers.
Is this like Miami Vice era Miami?
Oh, no, this is like 89.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
So it's like Miami, the 80s.
Okay, yeah.
The Hot Rod and Bocephus on New Year's Eve.
Holy God, yeah.
It's like the plot to a movie.
If you can remember the 80s, you weren't there. You know? And then, so I come down and he brought my wife, my brother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and I got my kilt on, and I go, so Hank, what do you want me to do? He says, man, would you just introduce me? Okay. Wow. And I go, well, what am I going to do? I look out, and I got my kilt on, and I had 2 cans of beer. So I poured both cans of beer over my head, and I turned around. I wore my kilt properly. Only thing I had under it was my shoes, and I mooned the whole crowd. And I turned around and said, if you don't like Hank Williams, you can kiss my ass. And he was going to go into the song, and he just stopped. He says, I'm not sure I can follow that. So I love him so much, man. And he's so down to earth. He's been through a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and so I just saw him perform on Fox like 2 days ago. And one of the things in wrestling is they have old school and new school, and they try to make the division. And then I saw Bocephus going, old school, new rules. Okay.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you mean I don't have to protect anything anymore? I can actually just tell the truth? And where can I do this? And then my producer, Justin, my buddy, and he got me on Universal City Walk. I mean, how cool is that?
It's a pretty epic place, right?
It's pretty epic.
What happened right down the street?
There's 2 transvestites. That one?
I mean, more about you getting inducted in the Hall of Fame about 300 feet from here.
You know what? I'm so glad you're here, because I would never remember that. I did. I got inducted in the... You know what?
I was there.
You were there?
I was there that night. This is how great life is, and it proves to me God's real. This is the truth.
Okay, wait a second. I got the ring on. It was 205.
Spring of 2005.
Yeah.
Because at the time, you guys know Court, our buddy Court. We have Court from the Comedy Store was promoting. He used to do Playboy comedy at the Palms.
Okay.
So at the time, I was still working the door at the Comedy Store. I'm making no money, and the best gig I had in my life was Court would fly me to Vegas. I would hand out flyers in the lobby of the casino. He'd give me buffet passes, a couple $100, and 5 or 10 minutes of stage time.
Buffet passes, the most important thing.
Exactly. The greatest thing ever, right? Then I get a phone call from our buddy Brent Ernst.
Yeah.
And he goes, did you see what's going to go down at the Universal City Walk? And I go, no. He goes, they're all getting inducted, bro. Hogan, Orton, The Sheik, Volkov, and he goes, and the Hot Rod. I'm like, I gotta go.
Seriously.
No, this is, and then they announced Stallone as one of the presenters, and Ric Flair was gonna induct you. So I'm like, I don't care what happens, I have to do this. It was one of the weekends I had to go to Vegas. Okay,
got it.
So I have to make a decision.
So you went to Vegas?
Oh no. So I call court. Okay, so here's the thing. I have to figure out if I can get tickets. I took honestly, the last $60 I had to buy tickets for me and Brett, and he was like, I'll pay you back. I go online. The only seats, this is all true, the only seats that we could get were all the way in the back, could literally touch the ceiling.
The nosebleed section.
The nosebleed section.
We love the nosebleed sections.
That's all we could get.
And you came?
I go to call the guy. I called court about Vegas. He's like, well, why can't you work this week? Well, it was like a month out. I gave him a warning, and I was like, well, I'm going to go to the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. And he goes, ha, ha, ha. No, seriously, why can't you work? I go, I have to go see the Hot Rod get inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I love you. Oh.
And then we go. It's the best. It's me and Brett. We're like little kids. Ric Flair's speech to induct you. I want to go over that and see if that story was true.
Oh, baby Jesus.
And then with the
seat's getting hotter.
The last $20 I had, I bought a Hot Rod shirt.
Get out.
No, and that's the shirt I wore, what?
When you opened for me the first
5
time?
years later. That's the shirt I wore in January of 2010 or whatever, when we did the Roddy Piper comedy show at the Improv.
At the Improv. Let me tell you what was going on then. Just before I was to go on to get inducted, there's only two people, myself and Vince McMahon. And he's on the cans. He's got headphones on. And the last time I'd seen him, he had fired me for the fourth time for doing something considered wrong. Yeah. Okay, so just so you know. So now McMahon's there. We haven't spoken a word. Not a word. And I'm waiting, and Flair comes back, and he says to me, Pipes. He says, tell me you'll go for it. Which means, come on, don't hold back and be political. Right. Tell me. Okay, Rick, I'll go for it. Rick's introduction to me for my Hall of Fame must have been 12 minutes. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, well, I was married for 22 years. He went into the stewardesses of, it was all lies. And
was that all lie?
Well, it was
getting arrested and starting a riot.
Jeez, well, maybe not
getting
all
kicked
of
off
it.
The plane.
We leg dived the Briscoes in the airport. Yeah, that's true.
Wait,
unfortunately,
what did you do to the Briscoes?
Well, jeez, man.
Hinchcliffe, that is detail. He told me, he was working with the promoters somewhere, like maybe Puerto Rico or something.
See, I got
and feared his life and wanted to bring somebody that they would.
Santa Domingo. Santa Domingo. What happened?
Well, no, I think his strategy. Somebody that would get the crowd to never mind hating Ric Flair.
Okay, so I got blackballed in all North America when I was wrestling for TBS. The guy's name was just a second. Barnett, Jim Barnett.
Okay.
And I had a little girl at the time, my first child, and I couldn't get booked any place except for Rick. Rick just comes up to me and he says, Pipes, I got a perfect place for you. It's hot, it's warm, it's got beaches. Yeah, all right, I'll go, And where is it? Santa Domingo. I don't know if you know anything about Santa.
I don't even know where that is.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a point in your favor. Santa Domingo, the way the generals get power there is by how many people they control or kill or beat up. Whoa. And it's martial law. So we come into the building, and I had my match with, I don't remember the guy's name. It doesn't matter. Boom. And so now it's Flair's time. And Flair wants me to come down to the ring with him. Why? Come on, Pipes. Come on, we'll have fun. Fun. The place is sweltering, okay? Now, in the crowd is the president's son. Uh-huh. And next to him are two guys with swirly things on their uniformed hats and like colonels, generals, whatever they were.
Military guys.
Very military. Okay.
Did they have,
this
like,
is an
guns
important word. Guns, and they had sticks, I don't know, about 1.5 feet long with like a 6-inch chain on the end of it. And they would beat the people back with the sticks.
To get away from the guys.
To get away from, that's the way they control people. So, shit.
Sounds like
Flair.
the beginning of an action movie.
Flair, no, man, not cool, because Flair gets down there, and their champion comes in. And when he first came in the ring, I thought he was the referee. He was so little.
Okay.
Now Flair's laughing, but the people are cheering for this guy.
Yeah.
Because his training regimen was he ran across the bridge, which is like 1.5 blocks. That's it. So, the match starts, and they're crisscrossing, and Flair gives me the high sign, pull his leg. I've never been accused of being really brilliant or having any real quality.
What's the high sign for pulling somebody's leg? Was it literally a hand signal?
Yeah.
You guys can communicate like that?
Yeah, we can communicate. Sometimes we just have to look, and because of what's good, you're killing me.
Dude, this is
we just have to look at each other. Old school, new rules. I don't got to pretend shit no more. All right? And so, all right, so he gives me the high sign with his, he looks at me and gives me the high sign to pull a leg. So this guy comes and I pull his leg. Oh, bad mistake. The guards that brought me down with those sticks and chains.
Yeah.
What happened? The president's son jumped to his feet and started crying.
Oh no.
And then those two guys with the swirly hats start patting their guns. They jump up and pat their guns. Now Flair's in the ring. We got to get the geography right. He's in the ring. I am not. I'm on the floor. And the guards turn on me and start hitting me with his chained sticks. And Flair's in the ring laughing his ass off. Look at that, Piper's having a great time. And he just thinks, that Piper, always trying to steal the show. Yeah, my ass. And they're killing me. And like
Could you fight back? What do you do in that situation?
Okay.
It's martial law.
Yeah, this is the first rule in a riot. You get it. I'm not kidding.
There's rules to riots.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, fellas, the next time you're in a riot, this is what you're going to want to do. I pray I'm never in a riot. Right, come on.
Okay, first rule is get a chair. Now, just not to hit anybody with, to get over your head. Because here's going to come, like, they got some great pictures in San Antonio. Those kids with cement rocks, and they're flying, and there's the guys with the sticks and the chains, and they're slashing at me, and Flair's still laughing. And finally, one of the guards grabs Flair's ankle, and Flair's not laughing no more.
Gotcha.
And we're in trouble. And it's all that brat kid. I guess it was me, but, I didn't see it that way. Wow. And now we're having problems getting out. Okay. And the guy, go ahead.
Wait, I'm still a little confused about how this, so Flair's got a match.
Yes.
He invites you down. You already wrestled.
Yes.
Flair convinces you to come down to the ring with him and like have some laughs or whatever.
Yeah, like, be in his corner.
Yeah.
And I think he just wants me, kind of like having fun, but really, I didn't know the magnitude of the fight. I didn't know what Flair had said about their champion.
Right.
I didn't know how much everybody was in.
How many people are in the arena, would you guess?
Guessing 7,000.
Wow.
Completely sold out. And like there was no windows, there was just aluminum awnings. And the guy that killed Bruiser Brody, actually,
Carlos Colon?
No, not Carlos. Just a second. The Masked Invader, Jose Gonzalez. He finally came down and he pushed the guards back. And with the chairs over our heads, we got to the dressing room. But then we're in a corner, and the wrestlers there stole all their stuff. I lost my wedding ring.
Oh my God!
And I lost they had a guy made me a ring that looked like a king. It was really gaudy now that I think about it. I loved it. My ego, right? And so now Flair and I are in the corner because in Santo Domingo, it's not rocks, it's like chunks of cement. And remember, there's no windows. They're aluminum awnings, and they're throwing rocks through the aluminum windows, and it's like grenades coming in. Boom, boom, boom. And we're down in the corner trying to keep away from getting the grenades. And Flair looks at me and he says, sometimes he pisses me off so much. Dom Perignon, he says, I'm going to kill you. That's boom, here comes the rock. And finally, what they did is, the promoter, Jose Gonzalez, came from Puerto Rico, got an ambulance. And they whipped an ambulance in like somebody was hurt. They put us in the ambulance, and they said, you got to get out of the country now.
Oh, my God.
You're not going to make it. And they put us in a private plane and landed in...
So that was the end of Flair's match, was just the starting of a riot.
Which seemed to entertain them just fine. Nobody asked for their money back. And,
that's what I was going to... Okay, so he's in the ring.
Yeah.
You're walking him down. You're not in the ring. You said you were on the floor.
I'm on the floor, like ringside. Like, let's pretend like I was Captain Lou Albano, the manager guy. Right?
Are you in the kilt? Or?
I mean, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm totally.
So they know you're the guy. You are the hot rod.
And I beat their guy just like 5 minutes before. And because I wasn't the main event, I kind of took a shortcut and I beat him about 5 minutes. Boom, just kind of hooked him and bomb. And I figured it's the night's done. But Rick wanted me to come down because he had been there once before.
Okay.
Henceforth, the rematch here. I guess that's need to know information there.
Yeah.
That's why I love you so much. Thank you. And then I figured out why when he said pull. I don't know why Flair said pull the leg. I think because he knew a riot would happen. He loves watching me in riots. I've been stabbed 3 fucking times. It's getting a little old, Flair. And then, got in an ambulance and got in a plane. And then Flair put in his book, that guy, he says, I got paid $5,000 and Piper got $500 in this platoon full of cocaine. Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly, anyway. And I'm not sure how we got there, but thank you for
I want to go back. I'm so amazed. You're like, it was just a ride. We got on a private plane. Wait.
Okay.
Did this all start over just him giving you the look and you pull the leg?
Yeah, because you see...
just one move.
Just one
pull. The guy's leg.
Yeah, this is old
and that was
school.
Enough to start it.
That's enough to start it because Flair had gone and wrestled the guy and it was a 30-minute time limit.
Okay.
And so the 30 minutes ran out. So then...
In the first match?
In the very first match.
Okay.
So then, everybody's behind the champion. Their guy.
This guy?
Big time.
Okay.
Jack Benitez. That was his name.
Okay.
And so the whole country turned out to watch him run over the bridge. A block and a half. All right. And he's, I don't know, $150 he's weighing. Okay. Maybe, 5'8", maybe.
Yeah.
But the country loved him. More than that, the president's son loved him.
Okay.
And so Flair, I guess, was just kind of, all right, we're going to get this guy down and get some heat on him. Baby Jesus. And so he gives me the high sign, but I don't think Flair really, because he wouldn't just, yeah, he would. Just put me in that situation. He was kind of thinking, let's just kind of get it going because of the 30-minute time limit.
He probably couldn't account for the president's son freaking out and starting the whole thing.
See, that's, thank you.
Right.
That's neat. Thank you. I wish you were there.
I don't.
See, sometimes I can't put these things together. But no, nobody was counting on the little brat crying. I mean, come on. I didn't take his Halloween candy. I just pulled a guy's leg and boom. And, we didn't get out till 3:34 in the morning. They threw for they didn't leave. That was the problem. We were in the corner, sitting down, like our back-to-back, kind of. And just kind of, okay, they're going to get tired of this anytime, but they don't get tired of shit. They stayed there and kept throwing these cement blocks. The place was full. It's hard to describe because when the cement blocks, after a while, as they were coming through these portholes, they went into dust, poosh, and it was hard to breathe because it was so full. The match went on, I gotta guess it, maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
And this is now 3 o'clock in the morning, and they're not even, I don't know, they got squads or something because they didn't get tired or nothing. And they're throwing this shit stuff through the window.
Police presence?
Well, yeah, we kind of pissed the police. It was the army.
So it was everybody that was, like, everybody in the country's against you guys?
Everybody. The whole arena. And it's because, like, well, the king's son. And I guess everybody wants to impress the king, or not the king, the president. Everybody wants to impress the president. And his son's crying. And, I mean, these people, they're very poor people. Yeah. They don't have much. And so what they do have pride in, they got a lot of pride in it. And I pulled their pride. And,
gotcha.
And then, come 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, rocks are coming when you hardly breathe.
And then that's when they put you in ambulance?
Yeah, we were there for hours. We just figured they'd get tired and go away.
You remember any, like, what were you guys talking about or anything in there?
Well, yeah, we were actually talking, for a while we were talking about the stewardesses, but, it was, his stewardesses, but it was, hard with baby Jesus. It was hard with the rocks, I've been stoned. So that's how that happened. And what I was saying to you was, like, so at the Hall of Fame induction in the amphitheater, that's why he come to me and said, "Tell me you'll go for it." So, good call. The same with, "Hey, Pipes, come on down to the ring." And because the ring, more balls and brains. And so then, okay, and there's McMahon, who I just had a wonderful conversation with about 2 weeks ago. So I've been fired once since then, but he's on the cans, and it's all ad lib. And so when I come out, Flair had done this introduction, and you almost had to speak in code because people kind of caught on what was going on. And finally, I said, something like, something. They just let me back into Denny's. In other words, they just got, I'm back, and I like the patty melt. That was the opening of my induction speech. And it was like, I was trying to say, hey, I'm back, at the same time, I'm not trying to shove it up your ass again, Vince. I just like the patty melt. And Flair starts laughing. And then the whole amphitheater, it was like a really cool undercurrent. And, it was an honor. You know what else happened here? Is when They Live. It premiered right here. I forgot about it.
In Universal Theater.
Right here. Yeah.
Let's get into that. We're taking a break.
Okay. All right.
Guys, we're going to start answering Twitter questions. Just
There's
hashtag
75.
We got a lot coming up.
All right, man. 5.
We'll be right back.
I love Rod Potts.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we were just kind of hissing and pissing around here. And I want to go to the phone, but I see a name on there. Now, I am not a technician, okay, but I'm going to give it a try. If I push this button on the phone, hello?
Hello, Rod. I think you pushed the wrong button.
Would you turn my cans up a little bit? Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Oh, I think I turned. First of all, thank you so much for calling in. Hacksaw is one of those. Are you talking, Hacksaw?
Oh, no, excuse me. I was thought.
You were thinking? You know what we told you about that. I said to Hacksaw one time, I'm in getting ready, and I'm getting ready to go out. And as I'm getting ready to go out, all of a sudden, Hacksaw's, at the time about 275, he's naked, and he's coming from the shower. He's got soap all over him. And he comes in front of everybody, and he grabs me and hugs me and goes, "Soap monster," and then pushes my ass out to the people. I got soap suds falling all over me. I love you. I said to Hacksaw one time, I said, hey, BFF, whatever that means. It's got 2 F's in it. Might not be good. I says, "Did you order your food?" Hacksaw says, "No, I asked it nicely." What does that mean? What does that mean? Anyway.
I got my food much sooner, too, though. and it tasted better, also.
That was a shot. That was a shot there. How you doing, pal?
But, brother, I was out here, I was holding, doing the deal. chick come up, she goes, "Hey, brother, $200." And I said, "Well, I'm a friend of Piper's." And she goes, "I'll give you $100." I'm like, "Holy smokes."
Okay, is that why you called? Thank you very much. Is that why you called me?
No. I just, actually, I called to say hello.
Well,
brother. But no, just one thing, Piper. Just one thing.
What's that?
Why did you paint yourself half black and half white, tough guy?
Holy. Hello? He hung up. You asshole. He hung up on me.
Half black, half white?
Oh. Holy cow, it's getting hot.
What match was that for?
Oh, thank you. I was trying to change the subject there. I appreciate that a lot. Okay. All right, listen, by the way, I want to thank Hacksaw for calling. I did a match one time in the Sky Dome, and I got a lot of trouble for it. But it was against a guy named Bad News Brown. And Bad News Brown was like a really exceptional judo player. And he was in the Olympics.
So he was the real deal.
He's the real deal. And like, I think it was in the fight, it was in the Sky Dome. But when I was walking down the hallway I think in the Hoosier Dome. And Vince McMahon says, "Hi, Rod, I need to talk to you." Mm-hmm. And I walk in the room and there's Bad News Brown, Vince, and Pat Patterson. Mm-hmm. And I could feel the air. You could cut with a knife. And I sit down and Vince says, "I want you to wrestle Bad News Brown next WrestleMania." In about 7 seconds, I'm looking at Bad News and I said, "I'm going to paint myself half black." And, okay, all right, hang on. And Vince said to me, "I love you." Yeah, and that was it.
In the room. You guys were all in the same room.
Yeah, he said, "I want you to fight this guy at the next WrestleMania." And this is what was going through my head.
Okay.
Is I'm looking at Bad News Brown, and you know what? People accuse me of being a racist, and it's so far from. I was born in Saskatoon. It's 100 below. There are no black folks stupid enough to go up there and live. All right, get that correct. So I'm looking at Bad News Brown. Was a great judo player, but he wasn't a real pizzazzy pro wrestler.
Okay.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to have to do like 40 promos about this guy. And it was like Tourette's, half black. Go.
Okay. I think that, as crazy as this sounds, sort of gets to the genius of why you're a legend in this business. Because there are guys that are amazingly skilled athletes.
Yeah.
That are the real deal, like this guy.
Yes.
But the business is also selling tickets and marketing.
Without a doubt. Yes.
And you're sort of one of those guys that saw it evolve from sports to sports entertainment. Right. And I think that's why you're held in such high regard between all generations of wrestling fans.
I love you too, but it got, so what McMahon did.
That's what okay.
Okay, McMahon had, it just gets worse, okay? McMahon had this special black paint made, so when I got in the ring and I was going to sweat, it wouldn't come off.
Okay.
All right. So, and Bad News Brown isn't real happy with me. Now, in the interviews, I would turn one way and I'd be black, and I would pretend to be Bad News Brown, and then I'd turn the other way and I'd be white, and I'd pretend to be me. But also in the interviews, I'll tell you when this was, Cyndi Lauper had a song out called True Colors.
Yes.
And Nelson Mandela had just got out of prison, and I'm a huge Nelson Mandela fan. One of the things Nelson Mandela said, when he was in jail, every day when the guards came and got him, he said, "I was the first man to lend my hand, to shake it, and say thank you." Every day, Nelson Mandela. And that impressed the shit out of me. So I actually did one interview where I sang True Colors with my fist up and Nelson Mandela. I was coming from a pure place. Mm-hmm. Bad News Brown didn't see it. So now they're coming in the Sky Dome and they got a special ring to drive me to the ring. So, I'm half black. Everything. Because of my sense of humor is half black. Okay. Actually, some things grew as I went along. Anyway, edit. So I come down, and the match, when I came down, I was like moving my arm like from my from my crotch into the air, and I got much the same reaction as I'm getting now. I was like, what the fuck is he doing? I was trying to dance like Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Because the half black wasn't getting over. And so here's the thing. I have the match, and I come back, and I sit down, and because it was a special paint, it had a special clear solution to get the special paint off. So the lady that painted me, painting can be a lot of fun. Anyway, the lady that painted me, she's got the special solution, and she starts on my cheek, and like 5 minutes later, my cheek's bleeding, but the black ain't coming off.
Oh, God.
Andre the Giant and Arnie Skolin. Arnie Skolin used to carry the money every place. I loved Arnie. They poured the solution out and poured water. Oh, okay. My producer, yeah. Yeah, I love you too. Poured water in it. Now, I'm in Toronto, Canada. I'm half black and half white, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Oh, God.
So I went out drinking. And
There's a solution.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Shots.
Okay, now, this is what sucks, is the next morning, there's some things I don't really remember. The next morning when I woke up, I had all my clothes on the bed, and my hotel room door was gone. And there was a cowboy hat in the middle of the floor. I really don't know what happened with that one. And I had a 4-foot Mickey Mouse doll that I was bringing to my daughter. But when I got up and looked in the mirror, I'm still half black.
Oh.
And I got to go from Toronto, Canada, through customs in Chicago to Portland, Oregon. And I'm half black with a cowboy hat on, about 245 pounds, just edit, and a 4-foot Mickey Mouse under my right arm and a Halliburton in my left hand. And I gotta tell you, folks, even customs, they just want you to get the fuck out of there. Go ahead. You're out. And I went all the way. When I went through that Chicago airport, holy shit, man. I don't know how to explain it. You know, it was like they wanted to kill me, but it's bad to kill a crazy man. It's like you won't go to heaven or something. And I walked through there. And then when I got on the second flight, the leg from Chicago, the stewardess, I don't know why, didn't like me. And it has something to do. Well, she was from Chicago. And so she said, the 4-foot Mickey Mouse, check it. I said, fuck you, and I bought it a first-class seat because it was for my daughter, and me and Mickey, we drank all the way to Portland, Oregon, and it took me 3 weeks to get that shit off. I had to go in the sauna and scrape it. What am I going to do, beat the shit out of Andre? And thank you, Duggan, for that. I hope you'll fucking call in. Let me call in on your show.
USA. USA. USA.
Holy cow.
I honestly think we could spend an hour dissecting all the information. I don't want to bore people, but I'm still fascinated with how you come up with an angle for a match, how you promote it, how you think it's going to sell tickets, and then the ramifications of all those decisions.
Oh, some bad
decisions. Because it sounds like you're like, really? Am I really going into the ring half black now? You're trying to dance. And then that's just the beginning of the nightmare. Then you can't get it off.
And obviously, white man can't dance because it was my right side was white, and I was right arming it. You know, I should have left armed it. I would have been a dancing fool.
And you're just like, I'm just trying to sell tickets.
That's
I just want to get people involved.
Feed my family.
And then you mentioned one point, and I don't know if this was significant. Okay. First off, we all know who Andre the Giant is, right? You don't want to fight that guy. But you just mentioned Arnie Skolin, who I remember as a child, I believe, as a manager, but you made one key point in that story. You said, he's the guy that held the money. So I'm assuming in your world, you have to be a pretty serious guy to be in charge of the money. So even, I don't know how you found out they were the ones that dumped
through the underground jungle beat.
Okay, well then what are you going to do when you have a giant and the guy that's handling the money? Good plan, fellas.
Let me tell you.
It only took a month to get off.
Arnie Skolin, let me tell you a quick story he told me. He says he was in the Second World War. He says, yeah, I come up, and they're all in a dugout. It's them or me, so I got it done. End of story. So Arnie used to have little cigars. And in the briefcase, he would have all the cash money over the weekends and take it to the bank. And nobody ever messed with Arnie. He never lost a dime, and nobody ever bothered Arnie.
Gotcha.
Because it was important that the money get to the bank.
Wow.
I'm sweating like a bad kid. Damn. So that's a wrap on this fucking show. Hey.
You want to take a Twitter question?
I love to.
All right. Vinto316 says, who would you put in the WWE Hall of Fame?
Holy cow. Who would I put in the WWE Hall? You know who I think deserves to be there is Cyndi Lauper. What really started WrestleMania was a match called the War to Settle the Score. And it was like, I gotta explain this, I guess. I just kind of cram it in here. I was wrestling Hogan, and Cyndi Lauper, she got the female vocalist of the year that year. And she went to present a big platinum record to Captain Lil Brown, and I took it and I hit Captain over the head with it. That's fair game, damn it. But during the match, Mr. T, who's there, gets all excited and jumps up in the ring, and so I hit him.
Wait,
yeah, okay.
Was that
this was War to Settle the Score?
I remember that. Did you knew he was getting in the ring, or was that something?
No. Mr. T is not that bright. No, he got all excited, and what happened, as you'll see in a second, is like Mr. T got up, and so I hit him, and then there was I just saw like blonde and orange hair, and again we're back to riots. I just been in so many of them. I just turned and kicked.
Oh no,
Cyndi Lauper.
Oh,
and then I looked, and there was a New York City policeman in uniform with a gun who just jumped in the ring, and then he was like a deer in the headlights going, what did I do? And all his buddies are going to back his play.
Oh, yeah.
Baby Jesus, here they come. And for like weeks, people would come up next to my car playing Girls Just Want to Have Fun. In the restaurants, I had to clear out the back so I could get my family in there. And then when Cyndi Lauper won her award on is it Emmys or Grammys, the last thing she said is, Roddy Piper, you're going to get yours. So I got Dr. Ruth Westheimer doing press like, don't pay any attention to him. He just wears a kilt to get attention. Geraldine Ferrara, who was running for the Vice President of the United States. Roddy Piper, you're not fit to wear a dress. I kid you not. Rod Stewart, Twisted Sister, the whole MTV crew.
Rockin' Wrestling Connection.
Exactly. And, being not so bright, MTV Music to Vomit by, is what I dubbed it. And, I can't remember what the question was, but that's how the hell we got the
Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame. Thank you. What would I do without my producer? So then the whole Rock and Wrestling Connection and the cartoon came out, and that was all Cyndi Lauper's notoriety. I mean, wrestling was bubbling and ready to explode, but it was that outside, and I had Cyndi in a Piper's Pit, and when I kicked her, like, holy cow, man. They hate. I don't know how to explain hate, but I know what it feels like.
Where'd you kick her at?
Right in the head. You're gonna kick her. Let's get her done there, baby. And and then we came back in the tag match with on Orndorff, and I refused to lay my shoulders down for anybody for like 17 and a half years, and I tell you, it was a little antsy out there. Every celebrity that you ever thought in the Garden was there, like Billy Martin, Dick Clark. I looked at Dick Clark. He had a microphone in his hand. I was in the ring, and I guess I swirled fast. And he looked at me and says, "Don't hurt me!" And he dropped the microphone and ran back to the dressing room. I'm not going to hurt you. But the people that are watching, like I had threatened Dick Clark, and then there's Cindy, and then there's the cops. And then the cops are trying to hold me back. And then I'm going, well, you know what? Fuck you too. And I'm trying to get back in the ring. Then Orndorff comes, Paul Orndorff, which is like man of war. And it's another whole piece of work right there. Orndorff, for fun, goes with a bow and arrow and shoots hogs. Razorback hogs. Just for kicks, okay? Wow. And this is the guy that's my tag partner. And Bobby Orton, Ace, who's the only man had a broken arm for 2 years. I love you, Bobby. And we would knock people silly with that cast. Oh, man, it was different back then. It was fastest gun, and, you know, when you kick, to kick Cyndi Lauper and paint yourself half black, and these, I'm out of order here. I'm just saying that, whoosh. And I just saw Cyndi like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago on Raw, and they brought me in, and I hadn't spoken with her since, and she was really nice. I really love her as an artist, and she was real nice as a lady. But then they did this thing where I gave Cyndi a record, you know, and I guess kind of apologizing, and I said to them in the afternoon, "Don't you leave me out there after I'm finished with this thing for 45 seconds of dead time. Go to commercial." Right. Sure as shit. 15 seconds, I'm still out there. 30 seconds, I'm still out there, which is like a lifetime. Yeah. And Wendy Richter starts to put a boa, not the snake, the fuzzy thing, around my neck, and I'm going, well, there goes 40 years right out the And I come back and I got a standing ovation, and I've never looked at it. The piece of work, I didn't think, I was really happy that Cyndi Lauper got some due in that. It wasn't a Piper's Pit. It was just doing it.
Was she a big fan prior to that? Is that what...
she was a fan of Captain Lou, and her manager, Dave Wolf, was a big wrestling fan.
Okay.
And he at the time had her cross over in the wrestling business. But I think that Cyndi, and I really love her. I really love her. Honest. If I had known it was Cyndi Lauper, she's what's the old line? I got to kick a girl that just wants to have fun. Smart. She brought a lot to the point where I think that she at one time kind of it damaged her career, because there was a young up and comer at the time named Madonna.
Yeah.
And Cyndi was hot, and there was that kind of how do you say that intensity back and forth. It was really intense back then. Everybody. In WrestleMania 1, I did a thing where I had to split the post, and I come down, or how do you say that in English? In the garden, there's the ring, and I got thrown into the turnbuckle, and I went underneath the turnbuckle onto the floor. And so I'm at the post, and I'm looking towards the ring. To my right is Hogan on the floor, coming my way. To my left is Muhammad Ali.
Wow.
Coming my way. And I had thrown Muhammad Ali about 10 years before that. I hip-tossed him when he was going to fight Antonio Inoki. And I had to make a life-altering choice right there. Am I going to go for Ali, who was kind of over his prime, or Hogan in his prime? I'll take Hogan in his prime. I swear to God, you can watch it. And if you watch the match, I felt like punches going, because I told Muhammad Ali in the press conference, I said, last time I saw you, I threw you on your bum. And it's a true story.
Wait, how did that go down?
Holy shit, it's getting hot in here. Serious, man?
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
Greatest fighter of all time. Arguably the greatest boxer ever.
You know what? I'll tell you how great a man he was. It was in the Olympic Auditorium on Grand Avenue in downtown Los Angeles. Okay. And the guy that taught me a lot was a guy named Judo Gene LaBelle. Toughest man in the world. Not according to him. He trained Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris. I don't know. He's probably given away like 24 black belts. He's 79. He still trains every Monday down at the dojo. Whoosh.
They call him the godfather of MMA.
He's
right?
godfather of MMA. 3-fingered lock. He's been choking me out since I've been 17. And he was the referee when Muhammad Ali took on Antonio Inoki. And I'm like, that's another story, but let me just stick with this one for a second. So okay. I had been wrestling Chavo Guerrero in Loser Gets His Head Shaved. Okay. So the first time I wrestled him, I lost and got my head shaved. So hell, I just wrestled the whole family and got my head shaved like 5 nights in a row. I had nothing to lose. So now I'm on the card for the Ali Inoki fight. And I think it was the Wide World of Sports. There was a lot of press there. And they said, they brought the microphone to me and said, "Hi, what's your name?" "My name's Roddy." Goodbye. That was it. So I went down and sat down in my seat in the Olympic Auditorium by ringside. I had my best 3-piece corduroy suit on. I was like,
what year was this?
Oh, shoot. 75-ish. And so I'm sitting down there, and Ali gets in the ring, and this is what a great man he is, man. All of a sudden, he points, "I want you." And I look behind me because there has to be somebody behind me that he wants. And there is nobody.
Oh, no.
It's me he's pointing at. Ah, shit. "I want you." Okie dokie. And I got into the ring. Now, I got beat up for a month after this by Judo G. Mabel. Every day. Nobody believes me. Muhammad Ali came over and locked up with me. And when you say swear to God, you got to be right on. I swear to God, I believe this. He whispered in my ear, "Hip toss me." Whoa. And boom, he didn't have to tell me twice. I'm all, "You got it, baby." And his shoe come off, and all of a sudden, all these Muslims with big, heavy artillery under their jackets come storming the ring. And Judo Gene looks over at me like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Oh,
I don't know. He told me. Like, no one believes that. What? And but here's the bottom line. Muhammad Ali was such a great man. Mm-hmm. He just saw, I don't even know if I was 20 years old. He just saw some stupid shaved head, white, the sun hadn't hit the head yet, in a unorthodox suit, kid that just needed a break.
Wow.
And while all this was going on, he just gave me a little push and went right back and did his business.
Wow.
And that's the truth. I swear to you, he whispered it to me. So whatever, 10, 14 years later, whatever the math is, he's at the press conference and can't shut your mouth, "Last time I saw you, I threw you on your bum." Now I split the post, and there's Hogan, and I took Hogan, and I'm talking too much. We got to roll, my producer's saying.
We're going on a quick break.
All right, Twitters. Holy cow. Old school, new rules. New rules. There are no rules. That's how Piper's Pit was made. The great thing about Piper's Pit was I had no rules. I could do anything I wanted to, but I had the consequences, I guess. That was sucked.
It's amazing that McMahon trusted you like that.
Yeah, he doesn't anymore. You know what they got coming up? The 1,000th episode of Raw. I think it's July 23rd. They just called me and asked me to come. And I didn't think they were going to. But I think it's in St. Louis. Raw is the longest consecutive running show in history of anything.
Right.
I feel like I've been on every damn one of them, too. I'm all broke up.
I feel like I've seen them all. What year did Raw start?
Raw started approximately when what people refer to as the WCW, WWE wars. Mm-hmm. And the way Raw started, it's actually quite interesting. Is my ADD kicking in again? There was one thing I wanted to tell you about Ali.
We'll bring it back to Muhammad.
Okay, all right, and then yeah. But remind me, because it's really Tony Hinchcliffe, one of the guys from the Comedy Store. You watch for the next 20 years. He's going to entertain you
Tony, what's your Twitter so people can follow you?
At Tony Hinchcliffe.
Steve Simone, what's your Twitter?
I guess that's Steve Simone. I don't even know. My website's awesomesteve.com.
Guys, we have a new Twitter page just for this show. Rod Pod Show. Follow it at Rod Pod Show.
At Rod Pod Show. How cool is that? I got now. I don't have to. I'm so lame with twittering. I'm a two-finger guy, you know.
And we'll be taking a bunch of questions, a bunch of phone calls starting next week.
Okay, well, I don't want to take another phone call. It might be fucking hacksaw again. Jeez. Like, I don't know if I'm going to get out of here.
We'll get a better screener.
Better. So, hey, Muhammad Ali, let me just, one thing. Well, many, but when Muhammad Ali was going against Antonio Inoki, Muhammad Ali was not going to come to the ring. He says, I'm not going in there. And Judo Gene was the referee. And he's saying, hey, man, what are you talking about? Because, you know, it's not a fair competition. If you put boxing gloves on a man, and you allow the other man to wrestle, it's just, I mean, it's dumbass.
Right.
And Muhammad Ali is not a dumbass, obviously. Right. And I got a lot of respect. See, that proves there ain't no racism in me. I love the guy. Yeah. All right, I want to make that clear, you know, because I hate that kind of shit. I hate bullies. I hate all that kind of crap. I hate people that hit women. Fucking hate you like that. So Muhammad Ali wasn't going to come to the ring because he was smart. So Judo Gene, God bless Judo Gene LaBelle, he saved the event. This is what he got done. Antonio Inoki could not stand up. Antonio Inoki had to be on his back through the fight, and if Antonio Inoki could get Ali off his feet, then Inoki could use wrestling. So when you watch, now we're talking like 15 minutes before these guys are going to go on, and Judo Gene figured this out, and you watch the fight, and Inoki's on his back, and I'm telling you, I don't know how Ali did it. He's kicking him, I mean hard, for the whole time, kicking him. And one time, Ali slipped and almost went down, and you could see Inoki was all over him. And Inoki has this huge jaw, and it was like, we used to say, you jaw like a pelican, his beak can hold more than his belly can. And, you know, anyway, you know, it's one other problem, because I fought him many times too. But, and what, in training, what Inoki did was he laid on his back and had the young wrestlers there stomp his jaw to toughen up his jaw so Ali couldn't knock him out. I don't know if it works. I don't know. I never heard anybody else doing it, but I know for a fact that Inoki did it. And so Judo Gene got Ali to come in the ring with Inoki under the understanding that Inoki would stay on his back, and so Inoki kept kicking that left leg, Ali. And that left leg was black and blue, bad. And anyway, that's how that fight came about. Otherwise, Ali wasn't going to get in the ring. It was a real tense night. They don't like us. I got kicked out of Japan for life. And,
what? You're banned from Japan?
Yeah, for life. Like, I don't know, like 79, 80. I still, you know, like, they must be really mad too, because, like, it was part of getting blackballed. I had Santo Domingo, I went to Japan, and then they wouldn't let me go, and so I got kicked out for life, and I never been back.
Flair mentioned that in
thank
the induction.
That's why illustrious producer that I love so much. Well, you know what they did to me, though, is they wanted me to be the first. Okay, the system was like this. It was all Japan Pro Wrestling, and it was a guy named Giant Baba, who was Japanese form of Andre the Giant. He wasn't anything close to Andre, but he was a big boy. Ate garlic on the train right from the jar. He stunk.
Get out of here.
Oh, I had to wrestle him a lot.
He just did that because he liked the taste of it?
He just loved the taste. Go figure, right? He's just pulling garlic out of the jar on that train, the Bullet.
Okay,
so that's how we got around, on the Bullet. And so at that time, Antonio Inoki was just like right under Giant Baba. And then Antonio Inoki broke off and that became New Japan Wrestling, and that was the first 2 leagues that was in Japan. When Antonio Inoki broke off, because I was on the same card as the Ali fight, they wanted me to come in, but I was really young. I don't know how old I was. I'm not sure. Early 20s, maybe late teens. Not sure. Anyway, and they wanted me in Japan and go through the system as a young boy. And what those guys got to do, like the same with the sumo, they got to cook the meals. You get up in the morning, 1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, 1,000 sit-ups. Then you got to cook the meals. You got to do all the guys' laundry in the shower. You got to wash their back. All right, everybody out of the fucking pool. I ain't doing this shit. Now, there's 3 rules as a professional fighter that you have. First, I won't leave home until I got a round-trip ticket. Second, never surrender your passport. Third, cash before I get in the ring, and you put it in your boot, and then you put your boots on. Hopefully you're really high, too, in height, because it's a lot of cash. So, but I didn't learn this till after Japan, and they took my passport, and they wouldn't give it back. And now, in the morning, I'm doing like the 1,000 bullshit, and I got a guy with one of those kendo sticks, an Oriental gentleman, hitting me and pinching me, with his stick, and they won't let me out. And I'm really miserable. And there's like machines right on the street in Japan where you buy a Coke, like a vending machine, but you buy Kirin beer or Sapporo beer. I went out and I was drinking, and I walked by this taxi cab, and the driver had got out, and it was on. And so I got in that cab, and I popped it down, and I hit it as hard as I could. And doggone it, man, I drove right into a Korean barbecue restaurant. The whole car.
In a stranded Japanese taxi cab?
Yeah.
Wait, so...
Yeah, well, I know.
You were kind of having a bad day.
I was having a bad day, and I was getting kendo whipped. I started, the kendo stick, the thousands.
They really would... You do 1,000 push-ups.
1,000 push-ups, 1,000 squats, and 1,000 sit-ups first thing in the morning.
And then get hit...
Yeah, like as if you weren't keeping up with the kendo stick, or to give you encouragement. They're really brutal over there. They like that kind of shit. And I was getting really, really hot, but there was a lot of them. And there was the white kid. And it just got to the point where I can't get out of the country. And I just got really pissed off. But when I I didn't plan how to get out of the country. I was just having problems. And I hit the gas. I just underestimated the car. And, the Korean barbecue restaurants over there, everybody sits around a hot plate, and they eat, drink and, cook their little chickens and beef and put it on their little rice and eat it, and wow, comes a yellow cab. Right, so if you're ever in Japan, I can get you a ride to a Korean barbecue I own over there in a lovely taxi cab, and they kicked me out of the country for life.
Do they send you like an update every year, like, hey, you're still not allowed to back?
Well, I'll tell you.
How does that work? How do you know? How do you know they just didn't forget or whatever?
Well, because Inoki, the last time I saw Inoki was, I inducted Wendy Richter in the Hall of Fame. And Antonio Inoki was there. I think he got inducted that same, and he still wouldn't speak to me.
Wow.
I must have wrestled him like 30 times, too. And not that he wouldn't, no, he didn't speak to me.
Wow.
Not at all. And, I even went over and said hi,
What do you think would happen if that match where you said Mr. Judo Gene LaBelle made sure that the match was going to go on him? That was like a pay-per-view event right around the globe. That was a big deal.
Huge. Boxer versus wrestler.
Boxer versus wrestler.
Yeah.
To me, that sounds like, that's the precursor to the UFC, because in the UFC you have the grappling, you have the striking. What do you think would have happened if Ali took the gloves off and him and Inoki just went toe-to-toe?
Just my own personal opinion.
Yeah, just an opinion.
Unless Ali, and he was pretty fast, could catch him, I don't think Ali would stand a chance, because Inoki would go low, leg dive him. Ali wasn't a kicker.
Right.
And he'd leg dive him, and once he got him on the mat, Inoki's good. He's a good hooker. Hooker is where MMA comes from. Do you know how pro wrestling started?
No.
In America? It's kind of cool. during the Civil War, they would have these huge battles and then long periods of time before another battle. And the troops were like bored out of their minds. And so they'd do like cockfighting, I don't know, like cards. And one of the things they'd put lice on a plate and wait and see lice on one plate, lice on another plate. And the lice that got off the one plate, the other guy won. And there was one guy special, and he kept winning. They couldn't figure out how, but he heated the plate. So when he put the lice on that lice, but true story. Gas can burn, Civil War. I love it. My great whatever, Robert Toombs, was Secretary of State to Jefferson Davis.
Wow.
He'd be on the losing side. So the guys, one of the things they did was they wrestled just to pass time. And wrestled. Okay, now, and they bet on him. Then the Civil War ends. Now the country's in chaos. But all of a sudden, Abraham Lincoln was a great wrestler. And he'd go and do his speech, and then he'd take on anybody that wanted to wrestle. Abraham Lincoln. Yeah, this is a fact. Now, what happened was, a couple of the guys that were, that were really good at the wrestling, they call them hookers. The difference is, in amateur wrestling, you try to pin the shoulders. When you're hooking, they don't care about the shoulders. It's going against the joints. Okay, and that's why, henceforth, the hookers. Unless you're Jim Duggan, and then it's a lady in red. However, there was a shot on that. So all these guys, like, nobody knew what to do, and the circus used to come, and just picture in your head Little House on the Prairie. And, so here comes the wagons of the circus, and I gotta kind of make it up because I'm not positive, but Friday night, and the wagons would come through the little town and then park outside the town. Everybody would know the circus is there, and come Saturday morning. Now, they would have guys stand 6, and, it's a different language. They would have guys that were with the circus that nobody knew was with the circus.
Like plants?
Good. That's a good word for it. Like plants. Yeah, big fucking plants. Big, tough plants.
Wouldn't people know that giant guy over there we've never seen before? Maybe he's at the circus. Jackie Gleason and Smokey and the Circus must be in town.
They took a lot of shrapnel back then, But the guys standing 6 would come to the bar, and they would figure out who the tough guy was in town. And they're really slick. They talk Carney, which is a different language. Kayfaben is a Carney word. Hey Rube, if you hear Hey Rube, get out. That's another song. So they would find out who the tough guy was, get everybody drinking and saying, hey, the wrestlers in the carnival, if you can beat him, I'll make it up, you get 50 cents. Mm-hmm. And they would stoke the guy up and get him drunk. Well, by the time the next morning came, the tough guy in town was so centered out, and the whole town behind him, right? So everybody comes to the carnival in the afternoon, and I gotta make it up, I don't know, paid a penny to get in the tent. Okay. So here comes the boy, and you got the pro wrestler. What he'd do is he would start wrestling this guy, but he would hook him. So you guys know what hooking is now. It's against the joints.
Submission,
there you go.
Right.
But he wouldn't pin his shoulders. Now, there's this one hold called a sugar hold, and it goes in between your arms and your neck, and it makes you bleed from the ears, the eyes, and the nose, and the mouth, because the pressure that's put on the blood's got to go someplace. And that was one of their favorite holds, and they'd put the sugar hold on him. And the guy'd be screaming because they slapped the ribs. Stu Hart, they have a 15-minute tape from the dungeon, of Stu stretching a guy. It's brutal. The guy's screaming for his mother.
I've heard that before. It's so scary.
It's brutal. Yeah. So they got, now, the crowd, they're slapping and making this guy squeal like a pig.
The toughest guy in town.
The toughest guy in town. Yeah. And there's all his people. And they would bring it to the point, there's a thing called red heat and white heat. You don't want to go white heat. But they'd get red heat. I'll explain that another time. And as it was going on, all of a sudden, every time somebody from the crowd would jump up and say, I'll take you on, and the promoter would come out, whoa, whoa, and then let go of this guy who was all beat up, bleeding, and say, my boy just fought. But you think you're tough? You come back tonight, and my boy will fight you. And everybody would come back and pay a penny again, but that guy was part of the carnival.
Gotcha.
He was the plan. And then those guys would have what they call rough work, which means they're hitting hard, but they're kind of taking care of each other.
Gotcha.
And that's how pro wrestling started.
Wow.
That's kind of brutal. So the first wrestling promo was beating up some poor guy that was just having a beer the night before.
Just having a beer, minding his own business. Was supposed to be plowing the fields, and mucking the cow shit, whatever you're supposed to do. And it works. Wow. It works. And that's how pro wrestling got started. Here I am.
Has anybody ever used the sugar hold as a finishing move or anything like that?
No, because it's so lame. You know what? It's funny, but the things that really hurt a lot look like shit. And when you get hooked in the sugar hold, the arms the two arms are up and you're hooked behind your neck. The deal is they put all their weight on you. And the blood's got to go someplace in the head, and so it starts coming out the eyes. And those Briscoes did it in Florida one time. They used to have wrestling schools, but the deal was this: it was bullshit. They say to the guy, "Okay, give me $1,000, and we'll take you through camp, and if you make it through camp, we'll get you booked." Well, the first day they'd beat him up so bad they'd never come back. And they beat this one guy up so bad one time. I don't know why I'm laughing, but I guess I'm a product of my business. So bad that he come walking out, and people called the police or the ambulance. They thought he got hit by a car. Wow. He was so beat up, and that was the way that they kept everybody out of the business. If you could hang through that, then you might stand a chance in the business, and they might start teaching you.
Do you know of anybody that went through that system, the Briscoe system? Well, it would be
more the old, Roddy Piper. Like for 4 fucking years. I got the shit in my language, excuse me. I really got beat up a lot.
So you went through a few different schools, because you were part of Stu Hart's dungeon, too, at one point.
Yeah, but I went to the dungeon. I got into pro wrestling by accident. And after I got in, there was some guy just didn't show up for Vern Gagne in Winnipeg, and I was living in a youth hostel there. And my coach, my amateur wrestling coach, when Vern Gagne would come to town, he was a professional referee, and he also trained amateur wrestlers at the YMCA. And somebody, I don't know if they missed a plane or what happened, but the guy says to me that I can get you $25. He says you'll lose your amateur status, but I can get you $25 if you fight this guy. And I never seen a pro match before, so I went to my pipe band. Cause when I was 14, I came 5th in the world in the CNE Garden with a band named Cabre Fay, City of Toronto men's pipe band, playing the bagpipes. And I said to my pipe band, what's going on? They said, fuck, we'll play in. Oh, that's cool. So I had my first match. I'm 167 pounds. I'm 15 years old.
You were 15.
15. And my voice was like this, and my nuts hadn't dropped yet. I get to the Winnipeg Arena, and I've got 4 bagpipers, all in full regalia, a bass drummer with a furry hat, boom, boom, and 2 snares, and me. You could hardly see me. Do you remember Mr. Perfect?
Yeah.
It was his dad, Larry the Axe Henning, 320-pound Nordic Viking-looking guy, and, he's looking all of a sudden, in those days, it was like 300 people in a garage and dust on the floor, and here's this guy walking in with 4 bagpipers, and boom, 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 and band, and I get in the ring, and the announcer said as I come, and he goes, my first name is Roderick, short for Roderick is Roddy. And he didn't know who I was, but he knew Roddy, and he had to introduce me. So he says, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Roddy the Piper, because of the bagpipes.
That's awesome.
And that's how I got the name. Wow. And It's the shortest match in the history of the Winnipeg Arena. Larry Henning beat me in 10 seconds. Right? And that's with you got, like 1, 2, 3. Right. So that's down to 7 now. I'm pretty sure I still hold that record. And then they threw me in a van that night. With like 6 wrestlers, 2 of the lady wrestlers, all as hairy as Larry, including Moolah, and snuck me over the border. And I worked a lot of territories like Kansas City, Amarillo, Dallas, Florida, up to the Maritimes, a lot of places, and nobody knew I existed because I was illegal in the United States, and I was expendable. So all the jobs, like when they had a riot, they'd have me, when they had a problem, they'd have me, after I wrestled, just put my street clothes on, Mad Dog Vachon, and I would just stand in the crowd, and Mad Dog would come and boom, push someone towards me and say, "Hit him, cocksucker." Wow. And I'd hit him, or if there was, what I had to do in Dallas? You ever heard of Von Erichs?
Yeah.
Fritz Von Erich and stuff? For Fritz Von Erich, I had to wrestle on the first match. I was a poom. Because on the card, it would have the main event at the top, and at the bottom, it just said Poom, P-O-O-M, plus one other match. That was me. And my job was, this is so bad, man. My job in the sports arena in Dallas, Texas, I had to date the fire marshal's daughter. So the fire marshal would allow more people in the building than was allowed for Fritz, and they could cram the building. Wow. That was one of my jobs. There's a lot of jobs. Whew. And they beat the shit out of me for like 4 years until I got to Judah Gene LaBelle.
Wow.
And he started, I guess he just felt sorry because I kept the kilt and I kept the bagpipes, and I know we got to go. But I'm going to be a monster killer soon. Yeah.
Monster killer.
Yeah, that's a whole other piece of work. I'm going to comic book.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to make a comic
talk about
book.
That.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I'm a fucking monster. Oh, it's just getting better. I got 3 people from my adopted frat house, I call it the Hells Angels of comedy clubs, the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard. And I've got Tony Hinchcliffe with me, Steve Samoan, and now
my buddy,
holy cow.
Rob, my buddy Steve Renazizi from the store. We were hanging out. We want to come in and just
from the league.
Thank you for letting me sit in and just shoot the crap with you guys.
Letting you.
I appreciate it.
It's an honor, man.
Well, thank you very much.
When are you shooting the league? Are you shooting now?
We just shot some promos the last couple of days with some NFL players that are in town for the ESPY Awards, but then we start shooting August 13th. We go back to work.
Season 3, right?
4.
Wow.
4.
Season 4.
Yeah, it's great. Season 4.
Cool.
Get that money. Get that money.
Get that money.
I can't not smile when I say season 4. People are like, oh, what season? Oh, season 4.
Yeah.
They know a little bit. They get it.
Yeah.
They get it.
5, your goal.
Oh, 5 is.
Yeah.
5 is.
You won't come on the show no more.
I'll be singing in the streets. Fred Astaire.
It'll be like the end of Trading Places. What is here, a calypso drum in the back? Everybody drink off the back of the yacht.
You'll hear a helicopter coming. Oh, Steve's here. Ready to do the podcast. This chopper just landed.
Yeah, it'd be so cool. The way, I don't think people know how I got to the Comedy Store in Sunset Boulevard. And, oh, jeez, looking at me like vultures ready to tear me a new asshole. My pal Sal Kimmel, head writer for the Jimmy Kimmel Show, and Jimmy, and I was going to do a one-man show on Broadway.
Which would be amazing.
Which I'd love to do. But, so they said, well, put him in the Comedy Store on Sunset, he can practice at 2 o'clock in the morning. And
yeah.
Yeah, and so, I was there for a year and a half, and I learned how to play the piano.
Is that really how you... Because I see you in the main room playing the piano. You started at the Comedy Store?
I started at the Comedy Store. I'm waiting
You already got more out of the Comedy Store in a year and a half than I did in 12 years.
It's so fucking brutal. I'm up there. I don't have a clue. I got so much respect for you guys. And what you do is an unbelievable art. Everybody thinks they can fucking be fun. And they're full of shit.
Oh, everybody tries though.
Yeah.
I will say this: like when you first started coming around, it's wonderful to have someone that you admired as a kid there. But we've had reality stars come in, we've had actors come in, we've had musicians come in, and everyone thinks they can do stand up, and everyone tries it, and everybody shits the bed, and it's just like another person we have to deal with in our lives. So then we saw you. There were some reservations of like, oh, okay, but then you just. Not abrasive, not in people's faces, not trying too hard. Plus, you're Roddy fucking Piper, so it's like, what are you gonna say? Yeah. Also,
but, it was
it's not some guy who's on the Real World that you can kick his ass when he fucking gets out of line.
But like, because all you guys who get at the back and help me, and at least you'd laugh at the unfunny things I was saying.
That's what I think this podcast is. It's like giving everybody out there listening a chance to hang out with us just in the back and listen to you tell stories.
I love the Comedy Store. I love you guys, all my heart.
Well, we sure are glad that you came.
I saw one time, you guys, there was some actor, and I don't remember his name, Don Barris, and all you guys, Mr. Barris, yes, the Godfather of the Comedy Store, and I love him. And he was being a wise ass, and Earl,
Big Earl Skakel.
Yeah, Big Earl, and like all you guys, I could see the fangs come out, and the saliva drooling, and Earl was the first guy to say them. He was in some big movie or something, and Earl says, so what do residual checks look like from 91? And that was the beginning of it. And you guys tore this guy an asshole for 20 minutes, got him up on stage, and he tried to play the guitar, and the guy maybe it was you, Tony, turned the volume down on him, and Don Barris.
He was some real asshole. And
I don't know. I wasn't.
I can't remember.
Certain things I just avoid.
What's the guy from 16 Candles?
It was,
I know.
It was the
That's
guy.
him.
Yeah, it was.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
No, it was. It was a guy from
Anthony Michael Hall. Right?
I think
yes.
I think
I'm not
pretty sure
he's been in there before, and he's had great experiences, and then he's been a D-bag a couple times.
Well, this night he got it. He got it really good. He was getting it because he made Don mad, and if you get Don mad and Don's against you, then all of a sudden we all have permission to just take a person's soul from them when they're just there to support some live comedy. Next thing you know, their girlfriends are trying to leave them at the comedy club because they made themselves look like an asshole. Yeah. That's what we did with that.
You made him walk. He finally walked out. And I looked at his whole...
For that night. Yeah, I hope he comes back. Yeah. I hope he behaves better next time.
It was a good lesson in, shut your mouth.
Yeah, he was playing tough guy. Yeah, I was in the movie 16 Candles. What the hell have you done?
So was my buddy Court McCowan. I like him a lot better than you.
I love it.
It's a great hang over there. I've been in New York for a couple months, and I was there the last couple of days, and I missed it. Just like it's like a clubhouse. That's really
like a clubhouse. It's a tree house on Sunset.
Yeah. And I bet you there are dudes at the Laugh Factory and the Improv that are pissed that you hang out a lot by us.
Everybody's pissed at me. I take heat for a living. But going, that you're with the crew. One time it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and Mr. Varus and Tony and a couple of guys, the club's got the doors closed and they're playing baseball in the parking lot. And I'm still hanging. Now what do you want to do, guys? What do you want to do?
Professional 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
It's great.
I used to punch in to work there at the cover booth. I sold the tickets, and I would punch.
So you came through the whole system also?
Oh, yeah. I got
there.
Did
you park cars?
Park cars and worked the back door and sold tickets. But I would punch in for work and sell tickets, go to the booth, sell a couple tickets, and then immediately head out to throw the football around the parking lot, which I did for about 8 hours until I had to close out the register. And that was it. I was never there to answer the phones or I was there to do comedy and hang out with my friends.
That's why you're successful.
Well, I guess so.
Yeah. It's a great place, and I love the fact that it was built by Bugsy Siegel in 1920s and was a gangster hangout. Not that I know anything about that. I just figured that.
It is
and really haunted. I take the last time actually was Hacksaw Jim Duggan and his family and Steve Samoan. does the ghost tour for all. I brought who else? What other wrestler did I bring there?
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob,
really?
Sergeant Slaughter.
Yeah. Dude, can I just tell that one story? We were doing a show. This is why I like Roddy's like the coolest. All right. Okay, so we're getting ready to do a show when a couple of years ago WrestleMania was in Phoenix. Sell out the Improv the night before. First time I got to meet your son, Colt, MMA fighter, Colt Toombs, coolest kid ever. He's like in his early 20s.
He's been at the store before. I've seen him.
Yeah, but he handles himself like way more mature than me. Right. Hello, how are you? And I'm like, hey, let's have some laughs, right? And so I was all excited to meet your son. I'm like, I met Roddy's son. Now, we're in the back of the car, and Colt's like, Dad, Uncle Bob wants to come by well, have your Uncle Bob come out to the show. And I'm like,
that was in Atlanta.
No, it was the year before. Was in Phoenix, because this is what I remember. I remember going, this is so cool. I get to meet Roddy's son. Now I'm going to meet his brother. And now I feel like I'm becoming a part of the family, right? So then like an hour goes by. We're getting ready for the show. Get a phone call. Uncle Bob's on the list. He's taken care of. He's taking a car over. I'm like, oh, this is cool. We're backstage. We're about to go on. Knock on the door. Colt goes, Dad, Uncle Bob's here. And I'm like, oh, great. I'm going to go meet Uncle Bob. And he goes, well, send your Uncle Bob in. And I'm like, I wonder what this guy's like, right? Door opens. I look up and I go, Uncle Bob is Sergeant Slaughter. It was like being 4 years old and meeting Santa. I didn't know what to do. I was just shaking my head to answers. Are you a wrestling fan?
Uncle Bob's so cool.
Great.
He's a tough dude too. Yeah. You know, Uncle Bob when Uncle Bob beat the Iron Sheik, which is a whole other show. Whatever president was in, Uncle Bob had everybody in Madison Square Garden do the Pledge of Allegiance. He's met 6 presidents.
Whoa.
And whatever, I don't remember which president was watching and had whoever was in the room stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance as Uncle Bob was doing it in the garden after he beat the Iron Sheik, who had Iran had the 444 hostages, and Uncle Bob beat the Iron Sheik in the garden, did the Pledge of, and whatever president it was.
I want to vote for whatever president was watching WrestleMania.
Man, that should be
great.
That should be required.
Do you have to pay for pay-per-view in the White House if you watch WrestleMania?
If it's by Vince McMahon, you're damn right to do. Everybody's got to pay, except Piper. And it's Uncle Bob, Sergeant Slaughter, is an amazing guy, but he's a really, really tough boy.
You know what was crazy about meeting him there that night with you? Because I remember being there, and you brought him there, and there was once a wrestling match that I got to go to in my hometown of Youngstown at the local little stadium when I was, I think, 10 or 11. Sure enough, my dad, who had some kind of crazy connection there, was able to get me backstage, and I got to meet 2 wrestlers at the age of 10 or 11.
Coolest
Those 2 wrestlers were Sergeant Slaughter and Roddy Piper.
No way.
10 years old in Youngstown, Ohio. I have pictures of it.
Oh, I've been to jail there. No, it's a nice jail and donuts in the morning. So I met you when you were 10?
Yeah.
And you're his father.
And that's how crazy it is.
Yeah, this is why we're all here, guys. I'm just here to make sure everything goes smoothly in the transition.
I'm Rowdy Tim Hinchcliffe, and
Thank you very much.
I'm just here to make sure all the legal paperwork gets taken
Getting hot in here again.
You know when someone says, I met you 10 years ago, and they could see Roddy doing math in his head.
That was like 10 years. Yeah.
I've had that feeling before, Roddy.
Oh, baby Jesus. I didn't know that.
It's just how crazy life is.
When you were a little kid, you told me that you used to wrestle with your pillow.
Every single day, as far back as I can remember, I wrestled with my pillow on my bed from the time I got home from school until I got tired. I would drive my mom insane. I would never do any homework. I would just take off my Catholic school uniform when I got home, down to my tidy whities, which to me were just wrestler spandex. You know, that's just the uniform, and pull up my baseball socks, and I would just beat the shit out of a pillow. I would do everybody's finishing move, you know, just suplexes, making so much noise. I'd get on the television that was on a dresser across the room, and that would be the top rope. The dresser would be the second rope. I mean, it was unbelievable. I'd write out these brackets with 40 wrestlers, and I would fight out each match throughout the night until finally at the end there's one champion, and I would just have everything all set up. I'd even at times have music on the tape player that you could record from the radio back then, and I would press play on the tape player, and I'd go into my closet and walk out of the closet like entrance music and just get on the bed and salute and all this stuff. Every day I was just putting on a show for only myself and my pillow.
And Mom?
No, she was, she had to deal with it. There was even this crazy old insight. I was so crazy as a kid that I would do this thing where I would wrestle a pillow, and eventually the match at times would get into her room, and I would go, Mom, tell us you counted us out, that we're disqualified, that the match ends in disqualification.
Yeah.
She'd look at me like I was just crazy.
You couldn't even let yourself win back then. Jesus, you lost to a fucking pillow, bro.
Count out.
I'm not good enough yet. One day this pillow will get his ass whooped.
Just doing push-ups again.
There's no easy way.
Drinking raw eggs.
I used to put my brother in a figure 4 leg lock that I think he still doesn't walk correctly. That's a real thing. I used to pause it on the VCR, the wrestling, so you could get the right angle. Figure 4 leg lock was kind of like, all right, that, and then you fell backwards, but you didn't know where to put your ankle.
Yeah.
And then once I figured out where to put my ankle, oh my God, you'd be crying. I'd be like, you can do it to me next, and then
here's my terrible figure 4 story. My little brother was always way smarter than me. Okay, and he's watching, I guess in the WWF, it was Valentine that used a figure 4.
Oh, yeah.
And Flair, because we'd watch WWF and then NWA. So it would go, my little brother, by the time Flair's sinking it in, an hour later, I don't know what year this was, but he's like, I think I got it. And I'm like, what? It's like a figure 4 leg.
Yeah.
So then he's showing me how to do it. He's putting me in it, but he's being such a sweet kid. He's like, now this is where the pressure gets applied on the knee. I'm like, okay. And he's like, I'm not going to do it hard. So he does it, okay, because he's my little brother. He's sweet. And I'm like, now can I try? He's like, you're not going to lock it in, are you? I'm like, I'm not going to lock it in. And I get him, he's like, okay, I'm starting to feel a little bit, and I'm going to lock it in. He's like, and I was like, you shouldn't have showed me. He went straight for the screaming for my mom. 2 seconds on there, police. It was, Mom, police!
But if you didn't lock it in, you were just 2 dudes laying there with your feet next to each other's bodies.
And if you grab the wrong leg, it really sucks, man.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah,
you get it on yourself then.
Yeah.
You flipped it over, you would be on
if you do it with the push-up, you
can flip it over. The other way is to grab the ropes and stand up. If you can stand up, you can change the pressure. But
there was no ropes in my house.
You didn't have ropes in your house? I thought everybody
just
did.
Just a cage my father built to make it stronger.
Where were you born?
New York.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, New York, Long Island, New York.
Long Island.
Strong Island.
I was just in, I fought Mr. T.
Right?
Yeah.
The Coliseum.
I fought Mr. T, boxed him in Nassau Coliseum.
I live very close from there. Very close to there.
And you were born and raised there?
Born and raised right around there, yeah.
Nice stuff.
Yeah.
Nice stuff. New York is a great town.
It is a great town. It really is. It's, I've been out here for 10 years, and I just recently bought a house back there and raising my family and the boys there. It's just better. It's for me, it's better.
How many kids you got?
We have 2 boys. We just had a boy 2 months ago. Another
Congratulations.
boy. Thank you. Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Thank you guys.
I'm a big time dad.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
My balls right there.
How old are the boys?
My oldest son is 3.5, and my youngest is 2 months. 2 months and like a week.
You're so fucked.
Yeah,
you're gonna be working for the next 30 years. I don't care how much money you make.
I know, trust me. I know.
Because just the standard of living goes up, more horses,
I bought him soccer cleats that were $80 that he wore 3 times. Yeah. I think I'm giving him to Pele. He's like, I don't even know what to do with these.
I played soccer with Pele. He's really good.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on.
No, I swear. But no, I'm not sure.
I played piano with Mozart.
No.
Soccer with Pele?
No, I did. But he's really good. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No, him and a guy named Kevin Keegan. Have you heard of him?
No.
He's really good too. I was in Scotland, and it was horrible. A guy named Frank Bruno, a boxer, was captain of one team, and they made me the captain of the other team in these little shorts, and it was fucking raining, and it was miserable, and Pele was on one team, and Kevin Keegan was on mine. It was on BBC for charity, and so then there was a penalty. Like, I don't know shit about soccer.
Yeah.
And so Kevin Keegan says, okay, big guy, you do it, and kick the ball, and there's a whole net, and their goalie was some comedian, and he had like a Snoopy leather helmet on, and he like really sucked. And so I kicked the ball, and I kicked it right into his chest, and he fucking caught it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, I was a real hero. And then, like, nobody really spoke to me after that. And I don't care, because it was fucking miserable. Stupid-ass sport. Because I can't play it.
Yeah.
But Pele was there. And
Pele.
yeah, he was good. He was
So
good.
you met Muhammad Ali,
I know,
Pele, everybody.
The Queen Elizabeth.
Wow.
Yeah,
the Queen.
How that...
I tell you what, it's pretty cool, man. It's called Royal Albert Hall, and there's, I don't know, maybe holds 1,400 people, but there's the booth, not the booth, a balcony where the Queen is, and there's a big crown on it, and I don't know. That was one of the cooler gigs that
That's
I've
amazing.
ever done.
What did you? Would you wrestle there, or was
yeah,
it? Yeah.
And oh shit, I forgot about this. So we were going. We had the very first pay-per-views. We had a rule: it's live, nothing can go wrong. Because there's just so much that goes wrong. You just got to roll with it. And so this is in Royal Albert Hall, and we're in the ring. And it was either Royal Rumble or Battle Royal. And all the lights in the fucking building went out. Just completely dark, like for, 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And so, me being the bright spark, I'm looking around. I just laid down the mat because there's so many guys and they're catching punches. And I just lay down the mat and start hitting the mat. All of a sudden the lights come back on. Oh shit. And I jump back to
So was
my
it a
feet.
Royal Rumble or something?
Yeah, Royal. Maybe it was a Royal Battle or something royal. And, then if you go like to Buckingham Palace, what happens is there's a room and it's all red velvet, and where the orchestra pit is, and all of a sudden she just appears, and there's a door, I don't know, like a secret fucking door, and it's right by the fireplace, and all of a sudden there's a
She's
queen.
just there.
She's just there, and you can't talk to her.
No.
And she got gloves on. There was this famous story. You got comedians. I love you. I love you so much. You got a lot of balls, man. And you're not supposed to. So the Queen's going down the line, right? And she doesn't really say anything. So I can't remember the comedian's name, but he's famous over there. And as the Queen's going down, he steps out of line. He says, "Excuse me, ma'am." He says, "Do you like soccer?" And she said, "Not really." He says, "Well, may I have your tickets?" She's got good tickets, I guess.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, I met a lot of people.
That's the Queen.
Now, I just signed an autograph for the president of the Republic of Congo, and they want me to come and fight there. They tell me it's a little dicey.
Another Santo Domingo gig it could turn into.
Yeah, but blood diamonds, and they're chopping hands and heads off there. At least Santo Domingo, they're just trying to rock me. That's okay.
It's good that Joseph Kony has your autograph now, though, huh?
And then
the YouTube video.
Is a YouTube video.
Yeah, he's a horrible dictator over there in the Congo. No, this is not the guy you got the autograph.
Right.
No, his name started with a K, like.
Oh, Jesus.
Wait a second, maybe.
We'll testify pretty soon. I just came in to do the podcast. I didn't know what was going on.
And then the guy that's running for the president of Kenya, Kenya, was in Toronto. I was doing an autograph, and they brought him, and I signed a picture for him and whoever the president is now for Kenya. You know that Raw every week goes into, I think it's 140 countries. Live.
Wow.
It's the second highest rated show in India, only next to cricket.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. It's the most powerful TV in the world. 100 and some odd countries. Unbelievable. And the way Raw started was when people call it the WCW, WWE Wars. And, WCW, I don't know why they call it wars, because I wasn't a fucking war with anybody. I was just getting a check, but that's what killed the WCW. It's another show, but guys' egos. But Vince McMahon was losing, and so what he did was he killed all the extra fluff for money, that cost money, and he put it in a smaller arena and called it Raw. So it cut the budget in half. Raw started Divas, Tits and Ass, and guy Stone Cold Steve Austin that was just running in territories had got there, and we had all defected and gone down to WCW, and that's how Raw got its name, because it was supposed to be Raw. And now July 23rd is the 1,000th episode. So whenever, 1,000 weeks ago, we got to go? 1 minute?
Oh,
1 minute. Shit. Okay, Roddy Piper, Monster Killer. I want to do a comic book.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and kill monsters, because I'm getting old and it's really hard killing giants.
Lincoln did that movie. It was Lincoln Vampire Killer.
Yeah, Lincoln did it, for fuck's sake. 1 minute. Oh, jeez, I don't want to go.
Are we going to do this again, the Rod Pod?
Every Thursday night. I'm going to have you all. I'm going to have this room so full of people. All people that I love.
I'll have people tweeting questions so that it's not just us hogging your time.
I love you. Yeah, I really do. Thanks, my producer, Justin Edbrook, all these guys in the Comedy Store. I got my name on the wall. I don't deserve it.
Yes,
but I'm so proud to be there, and have you all here is really cool, because none of you need to be, and I love you. And I'll talk to you guys next Thursday, but I'll leave you with an Irish poem. For those who love us, may God bless them. For those who don't, may God turn their hearts. And if he can't turn their hearts, may he turn their ankles so we recognize them by their limp. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I love you with all my heart.